Hello everyone, back with me again here on the third video about teaching methods that is intended for the English Club of the Business Faculty, Widya Mandala Catholic University in Surabaya, Indonesia. Right before I share screen, I would like to remind you that before this video, there are two methods that I already mentioned: audiolingual method and community language learning, which are these two are so different one another, even contrary from one another. And then we're going to the third method called um, comprehension approach through total physical response. Those of you who are familiar with the activity called Simon Says or the wind blows. The wind blows those who wear glasses and then people move around. Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, touch your ears. Simon says, touch your chin, and so on. That's a total physical response by giving instructions, by giving orders, by giving imperatives to the students. It is said that is one best way of learning, or one of the best ways of learning, right? So I'm going to share screen, the video of the third method that we're going to learn for this series. So comprehension approach or total physical response deals with, as its name suggests, responses, physical responses. It means that the target language can often be conveyed through actions. So it emphasizes on actions. It basically emphasizes on the comprehension of the students. They need to understand first, and then later on they can do the performance or the productive skills later on when they are ready. Okay. And secondly, retention. It says that retention or the capability of memorizing the knowledge can be improved when the learners respond physically. So total physical response deals a lot with instructions, like simple present tense is very much used in this case. Okay. Feelings of success and low anxiety facilitate learning. Yeah, just like other methods that we need to make the students feel that they can achieve the success. They can lower the anxiety of learning. Do you still remember how you ride a bike? So this method is similar to the kind of learning, of any learning that humans do. So when you firstly rode a bike, you were afraid, and then you were anxious that you would fall, and then you, as the time went by, you learned day by day, you got better, and then you could ride a bike very well, and now you could ride a motorcycle, and so on. So it seems that language learning in this sense, in the sense of comprehension approach, it is similar to any kinds of learning. And listening comprehension comes first because students are expected to speak when they are ready. So you cannot, in practice, ask the students to speak immediately in this theory. Yeah, so you put listening activities, you put reading activities, watching movies, any exposure to English, and so on. You as the role model, you speak, and then you can ask the students or your members of the club to speak whenever they are ready. It is not you to determine whenever they're ready. So based on this method, you need to wait until they are ready to speak or use the language. Learners' feelings are also given importance in this method. On the video, you will see how the teacher gives some sort of commands, imperative sentences that ask them to do things, and that is one practical thing that can be an example of this method. And the theory behind it is like this paragraph suggests that learning a second language is similar to learning the first language. That a baby spends months. You need to ask the baby to say ba ba ba, ma, pa, and so on. You can ask them, but you cannot uh, force them to speak because they don't understand language yet. Even though your mouth, what you're muttering, when even you're tired, asking the baby to speak, the baby will not speak because it's just not their time to understand yet. And that's the difference between this method with the other methods, because this method puts the learning as acquiring, so it's similar in that sense, you know. So the child has the time to try to make sense out of the sounds it hears. Yeah, babies listen lots of sounds. They're exposed to languages all the time, instruction from their parents, from the TV programs that they watch. But no one tells the baby that it must speak, especially immediately. The child himself or herself chooses to speak when it is ready. Moreover, according to linguists, or according to the linguist or the theorist, much of the linguistic input, the intake, the information that you give to the baby, direct contains commands, usually imperatives like "baby, sit still," and I'm changing your diapers, diapers, and then I'm changing your clothes, sit still, and then be quiet, don't cry. Those kind of instruction or commands that you give to baby is put into a similar stance, similar point of view with the second language learning in this theory, yeah. And then as you can see that from the video later on, that the teacher puts the students into a situation where the teacher gives instruction over and over again, instructions over and over, but not ask them to speak yet, because the it deals with when, and the business with when or time is given back to the students. Imperatives can be useful linguistic devices because meaning in the target language can be conveyed through actions. Yeah, actions. The emphasis here is on actions. So when you teach and you ask students to do things, it means they understand the instruction and they do the instruction, and you think that, okay, my students understand the language. But what about the oral production or oral production? What about the written production that they need to do? Not only do things in actions apart from the linguistic activities that they need to do. In addition to this, retention is thought, retention, the capacity of memorizing is thought to be improved when learners respond physically. That's what this theory says. The teacher's commands increase in complexity, but it is important that she not move too quickly. So you cannot move very quickly from one place to another by giving commands, because it will make the students confused. If you want to move from one place to another, you need to do it gradually or slowly in a good pace. Okay. And then when errors occur, it should be considered as non-threatening manner. It's very much different with audiolingual, who considers mistakes like a virus that needs to be eliminated directly and immediately. So total physical response or comprehension approach also does not emphasize on repetition. It does not emphasize on repetition. It emphasizes on the variety of the instructions given. So by giving various kinds of instruction instead of repetition is said to be more effective in this theory by this linguist. So from time to time, the teacher changes the order in which she issues commands so students do not memorize fixed routine. So activities that become routines, they're not developing anymore. It means that the students do not learn new things. So the students need to vary their instruction so that the teachers can identify whether the students can comprehend the instruction, comprehend the language better in that sense. Okay. The last sentence, besides novelty is also motivating and can be fun. Novelty, new things, that's called novelty. New things can be a fun thing to do. And, if I may suggest, in your English club, you need to have more than one routine activity. You need to have at least 5 routine activities so that more activities will create more fun things in that sense. And the last paragraph, the students did not do much speaking on the video in the lesson, of course, but they will do that later on when they are ready. So it's not the teacher who determines whether the student's ready or not, but the students themselves who remark whether they are ready or not. And then teachers should be tolerant if the students are not ready enough. And then work on the fine details, on tiny details of the language, like you need to put s, you need to put irregular verb there, you need to put capital letters, you need to put comma and so on, semicolon and so on, should be postponed until skills have become somewhat proficient. So this theory emphasizes a lot on the receptive skills like the listening and reading, and then the speaking and writing will be given to the students as the privilege. Whenever they're ready, they need to do it. Whenever they're ready, not the teacher asking them to do that. So I have explained to you 3 methods so far, and which techniques or principles or methods that you found useful so far and relevant to your teaching, your style of teaching, and how will you adapt them to your own teaching situation in the future out of these 3 teaching methods that I explained to you? Well, different questions, different answers, of course. But then these 6, we are halfway there. These 6 teaching methods will give you ideas how you will teach. And after I give you this video, I will ask you to see the real video by Diane Larsen-Freeman and her colleagues. And then I'm going to ask you to make a lesson plan. And by the end of this workshop, you need to submit a sample of your video teaching English. And not long, like 5 to 10 minutes, that's enough, okay? So that's it from me for now. And for me, we are halfway there. And after this, I'm going to explain to you about the silent way method, teaching with using silence. Excellent. And then Suggestopedia, and the last one is communicative approach, one of the latest approach used that is becoming popular nowadays. Okay, thank you so much for this. I'm Andreas. See you in the next videos. Bye for now. Bye for now.